Aquarius, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started. See what messages we have for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there. And if you've been thinking about getting a personal reading, have a look at the description below because I'm extending my offer over the summer. So special pricing on all readings over the summer until the end of August. All right, my friends, let's get started here for Aquarius. What is the current energy around Aquarius? Sun, Moon, and Rising. All right, Six of Wands. Nice. So your current energy is sort of feeling recognized, acknowledged. You might be feeling like you've moved on or moved forward from something that may have been challenging. You know, when you get to the sixes, it's like you've overcome a challenge. Things have shifted. You're at a turning point in the five, and in the six, you're sort of now at a place where you've had a chance to sort of get back on your feet after a turnaround moment. There's success here in the Six of Wands and recognition and acknowledgement for something. So it's interesting. It's almost like you're being noticed in some ways and being recognized and acknowledged for something here that sort of feels like you've leveled up. So I feel like you're moving forward on something in your journey here. And seeing that Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck kind of confirms that forward movement, that momentum that carries you when you're really connected to something and you're making moves and you're sort of really directing your energy forward. It's a nice feeling for you to start this reading, Aquarius. Let's see what may be challenging Aquarius or creating an obstacle. Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay, so that makes sense. As you've been pushing and moving forward and leveling up, there's a need for self-care here, Aquarius. There's a need for you to make sure that you're sort of taking care of yourself because you may be overloaded. You may be overwhelmed and overloaded and needing some refueling, rejuvenation, some rest. Nine of Wands is a time where we sort of are almost at our goal, and it's one of those moments that can be the hardest to sort of summon up the strength to keep going. So seeing this as an obstacle kind of makes sense because if you're pushing towards a goal and you're making moves and you're advancing, leveling up, sort of getting to the place where you're overcoming things and moving forward, you may need to stop to rest and sort of replenish yourself as you keep going, because the Nine of Wands can be a time where we're almost burning out. We're almost like the tank is on empty. So this is a good indication that you may need to take a break or take a rest or do something different for a little while just to sort of shift your energy out of this burnout phase and back into the movement phase. And taking a rest is human. So it feels like you may need that right now, but you may not recognize that. You may be like, I just have to keep pushing. And that's great, but you may need to rest in between those big efforts, yeah? So let's see, what's top of mind here for Aquarius? What's top of mind? Did you see that? It flew right out. Strength. So yeah, you're really overcoming some obstacles this week, Aquarius. It feels like you're feeling really empowered and confident and trusting yourself and seeing that there is no obstacle that you can't overcome. So the only obstacle I'm seeing here is that you need rest. So I mean, this is looking really great. Seeing the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck, very positive indication that you're on your way to some new beginnings. You're feeling sort of an emotional transformation in this Ace, and that, it just feels like you need some rest. Feels like you need to take some time to just, rejuvenate and rest and recharge, refuel, all of those adjectives. Okay, let's see here. What seems to be driving this reading? What is at the root of all of this? Two of Swords. So it feels like at some point you must have made a decision to switch directions on something or to reprioritize something that you may have had on the back burner for a little bit. Feels like there was a period where you weren't sure what to do. But I feel like that has cleared up, because there may have been something you weren't sure what to do about it, but then all of a sudden it's like you were aware of how to move forward, and that you needed your inner strength to guide you. And so you tapped into that, and it sort of led to some success here for you. But seeing that Two of Swords in reverse tells me that making this decision may have been difficult. It may have been one that you tried to avoid for some time, but then it's like something happened to motivate you and get you moving again. So it was a difficult choice for you to take this path. And there may have been some confusion and fear of commitment here. And this idea of a rock and a hard place, which is interesting, because I believe that was even the title of your reading last week, Aquarius, or the week before. I can't quite remember, but I remember that coming up for you, that you were sort of in the midst of a situation that felt like a rock and a hard place, and you stuck in the middle. So very interesting that sort of maybe has motivated you to make a decision and to commit to it, and to overcome any sort of fear or sort of confusion or uncertainty, which led to some success, and now you get a break. You know what I mean? So this is interesting. Let's see here. What were the past influences on this situation for Aquarius? Seeing the Eight of Swords. Yeah, I think in the past, this situation may have been really difficult for you to look at even. And there was so much fear of consequence and fear of, you know, the outcome, and you may have had this like self-imposed restriction take over, where you were at a complete standstill on something. And we can see that it sort of lessened as time went on, because we're going from past to present here. And as time moved on, it was still a difficult choice, but it became less of a standstill, and you were able to sort of unblock yourself. And I feel like you've made some moves even since last week or the week before. So something has cleared up for you, and I think that you were able to sort of get yourself grounded enough to make the decision that was so hard to make, that you in the past may have been very fearful or completely at a standstill on. Let's see what the upcoming energy is here for Aquarius. Upcoming energy. 10 of Cups. I love that with the moon. So you're feeling that you're moving in the right direction here. And even though the path is unknown to you, and you're not sure exactly what's going to happen or how it's going to unfold or what awaits you down the path here, we can see this 10 of Cups, which sort of makes me feel like everything is going to actually work out in a very positive way for you, that feels really fulfilling and in balance and in harmony and in alignment. So if your decision had something to do with a relationship or with achieving something that felt like a big emotional reward, I think you're going to get it. It feels like you're going to achieve it here. And so very interesting seeing the combination of the moon and the 10 of Cups, because both are Pisces energy. So I wonder if you were dealing with a Pisces. Usually you get a lot of Capricorn and Earth energy here, but it's interesting. It feels like the Pisces vibes here in the upcoming energy could also just be this heightened intuition, this heightened sort of feeling where you're really trusting yourself, as we see in the Strength card. And you're sort of making choices now less encumbered by fear and more guided by your intuition, trusting yourself. And I feel like each step of the way you're gaining momentum here. You just need a little rest. That's the only obstacle I'm seeing here. And you sort of, in the upcoming future, just need to be okay with the idea of sort of moving forward without exactly knowing how things are going to turn out, but staying open and not being too attached to one outcome in particular, but feeling like anything's possible, and that what you desire is achievable, is what I'm seeing here. Very nice. Let's see, how does Aquarius see themselves right now? Knight of Cups makes sense. You're moving to the beat of your heart here. You're very much in touch with your emotions, and you're going after your dreams here in the Knight of Cups. You're moving towards that Ten of Cups, and Knights are all about movement. So it feels like you are making moves here. You're moving towards your emotional fulfillment, and you're no longer feeling blocked by fear or anxiety or this idea that something may not be possible or that it may not work out. I feel like you're in a place where you're moving in a way that is guided by your intuition, your emotions, your desires, and you're not sort of creating a list of why it won't work or how you won't be able to overcome obstacles. It's like you've changed that a bit, and you've moved away from this sort of blocked energy into a space where you're moving freely now. And compared to this past, even the recent energy that's driving this reading, you're sort of moving in a different way now, and trusting yourself as you go. Okay, let's see here. How is Aquarius appearing outwardly to others as the Seven of Wands? So the Seven of Wands is a very interesting card, because on one hand, it can be very empowering in that you're standing up for yourself and you're defending yourself in a way that says, I'm not going to allow sort of anyone to overwhelm me or overtake me, and defending your ground here. You're standing your ground, and other people recognize that. And it's interesting because we've got that Six of Wands, which is a card of people recognizing and acknowledging you. And now in the spot of the reading of how other people see you, we see the Seven of Wands, which is a time where you're standing up for yourself, and you're defending your point of view, and you're defending your actions and your will. You know what I mean? Like it really feels like people recognize that. Now, on the other hand, the Seven of Wands can also indicate that sometimes we can take this to a place where we become defensive. Instead of sort of standing our ground, we start to become engaged in a defensive sort of dynamic where we might be trying to prove our point overly, and then we sort of lose that momentum of moving forward, and we get stuck in a sort of back and forth with people. So that's an interesting message to take as well, that you don't have to convince anyone of anything. You just keep doing what you're doing, and if someone tries to say what you're doing is wrong or tries to get in your way, there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself. But at the same time, it's not your job to convince anyone of what you're doing. If they don't recognize it, that's fine. But I feel like people are stopping and recognizing, hey, what's Aquarius doing differently? What's going on here with Aquarius? And it feels like it's generally a positive sort of recognition, but there does feel like this sort of energy here that says other people can see that you're standing up for yourself in a different way. And just sort of a message here of caution, that you don't want to get defensive and have your guard up, because then you might get sort of stuck in the back and forth with people, as opposed to just going on with your business. You know what I mean? Let's see what the hopes and fears are here for Aquarius. The Page of Pentacles. So there is something new here. There's something brewing here. And the pages are all about messages, right? The Knights are about movement, and the pages are messengers. So it feels like Page of Pentacles in this spot feels to me like a new endeavor, a new venture, a new pathway, a new direction, a new idea that is going to lead to sort of a new path. And it's interesting because of that Moon card sitting there with the Ten of Cups tells me that you're transforming, you're leveling up. There could be something that's sort of giving you sort of an enlightened or an awakened perspective here with that Page of Pentacles that you're excited about and hope for, but also in some way there's some you know, energy around that says, well, I have no idea what's going to happen here. This is a brand new seed that's being planted. Who knows what's going to happen? So there could be a part of you that's hopeful, but also a part of you that's a little bit fearful of what this could lead to. Although I'm kind of feeling the overwhelming energy around this is excitement and is fulfillment, right? Let's see what the potential outcome is here for Aquarius. It's a few too many cards, but let's shuffle those back in. That's too many. Let's see, outcome here for Aquarius. Thank you. Okay, that's funny. These were two of the cards that were in that pile anyway. So 10 of Wands and the Lovers. So very interesting. So the outcome here for you is looking like you are going to make it to the end of the journey, and you're going to find a lot of balance and complementary energy here, because it feels like you've been making choices that are in alignment with your authenticity. And you've been defending that authenticity, and other people recognize that. And it's creating a lot of success for you, and you're making choices in a different way. So it's very interesting, because you went from last week sort of being in a place where it was like a rock and a hard place, not really sure what to do. And I feel like something triggered a shift for you, in that you were like, you know what, I'm just going to do what feels really right to me. And I don't, you know, if people don't get it, I'm okay defending myself and I'm standing up for myself, because ultimately I want to move towards emotional fulfillment and this place of balance and making choices from an authentic standpoint where things are in harmony with me and I'm making choices that make sense for me. And I feel like that leads to this collecting of a harvest here in the 10 of Wands. And it's interesting that you have this nice succession. You have the 6, the 9, or the 6, the 7, the 9, and the 10 of Wands. So you're nearing the end of a journey, and it's that place where you need a lot of rest, because there's that final push to go before you get to the place where you collect your harvest here in the 10. But that it feels like the choices you've been making have been in alignment with you, and so the outcome is very fulfilling, balanced, and feels like it's in alignment with your authenticity. So you're not pretending to be someone else, you're not wearing a mask, you're not hiding behind anything, you're just sort of being yourself, moving to the beat of your heart, standing up for yourself and your authenticity, no longer stuck in self-imposed restriction or fear or confusion, needing a bit of self-care, granted, but still moving towards this goal that feels very fulfilling and balanced. Bottom of the deck, we see the 3 of Wands. It is in reverse, more wands for you here. But the 3 of Wands in reverse is just saying dream bigger. You know, dream bigger. You may need to sort of really expand how far this can go, because it feels like there's no limit here. And I'm sort of also seeing that Knight of Pentacles keeps creeping into your reading. So take a break so that you don't lose steam, right? You may really need a break right now, and you may need to just have a rest, you know, so that you can refuel. And because you're no good to yourself or this goal if you're exhausted physically, emotionally, you know, if you're feeling like you're just pooped or tapped out. It's time to take a rest. Very interesting reading for you this week, Aquarius. It feels like a turning point. Feels like a turning point. Look at that. As I say, it feels like a turning point. And I part the Oracle deck. We see between worlds and time to go. So that's very interesting, because you are at a place here where I feel like you're crossing into sort of a new experience, a new journey, like you're finishing one thing and starting something else here. It's a time of transition when we see between worlds, and seeing time to go is a signal that you've learned everything you've needed to learn from a certain experience, and it's now time to pursue something else. And look what's hanging out behind that card, soulmates, always for you. So in some ways, it almost feels like you've come to a place where you're like, I've learned everything I need to learn about this situation, so I'm going to move on. And it's time. It's time to leave it behind. Very, very intriguing messages as I cut the deck. And it stayed that way again. Let's see. What is the highest guidance here for Aquarius as they are moving on. Bags are packed, just need a rest. Milk and honey. Yeah, you're on your way. Look at that. I love seeing milk and honey with the 10 of Cups because it's essentially the same card, right? It's a time of achieving emotional fulfillment, happiness, abundance, bliss. You know, you're really in tune with yourself, and now you can just enjoy. You can enjoy Aquarius. You don't have any burdens here. This is a time of really choosing to just be happy and content and really genuinely feeling that. So this is lovely. I love seeing that card, Milk and Honey, for you, because it really shows the connection between you and your future energy, and how it's so fulfilling moving ahead from wherever you've been recently, where maybe it felt very confusing or very uncertain. Milk and Honey, this card is really about opportunities born from authenticity. And so seeing the Lovers and the 10 of Cups tells me that you've decided to sort of move away from things and trusting that you can, you know, meet your needs. You're nurturing yourself. You're being authentic, and opportunities are coming out of that. Very prosperous opportunities. And it's like you're entering this sort of sweet time of your life where the things that you desire are you're attracting them to you because now you're in alignment with them. So it's very interesting. It's sort of like by being authentic and releasing yourself from this self-imposed restriction, you've created an opportunity here for yourself to really sort of connect to things that feel like they're nourishing you. You know what I mean? And that really realizing that there is only one authentic you, and that version of yourself, when it's in alignment with the true expression, can really start to shift our outer reality. You know, it's only when we're hesitating or wearing a mask or, you know, not really connecting to ourselves that things seem out of whack or out of balance or out of harmony. So I feel like you've transformed that for yourself here, and you're making some big moves here. Very interesting reading for you this week, Aquarius. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. Sending you so much love and encouragement. Take care.